I honestly don't even know where to start. So I guess I'll just say this. I've been married to my wife for 6 years, together for 9. I'm 34M, she's 32F. Up until recently, I would have told you we were not perfect, but solid. You know, normal arguments about chores, money, who forgot to buy milk. Nothing that screams, your life is about to implode. But looking back now, I think the cracks were there way earlier. I just ignored them because I wanted things to be okay. My wife has always had a sharp personality. Like, she doesn't just argue, she goes straight for the throat. If she's annoyed, you'll feel it. And yeah, she lies. Not always about big things, but enough that it started bothering me over the years. Little inconsistencies, stories that didn't quite line up, details that changed when you asked twice. Every time I called her out, she'd flip it on me. Say I was paranoid, controlling, looking for problems. So I stopped pushing. That's probably on me. Things started getting weird about 3 months ago. Subtle at first. She became really protective of her phone, like taking it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom, turning it face down, smiling at texts, and then immediately acting cold toward me like I'd interrupted something. At first, I told myself I was overthinking it. Then one night, completely out of nowhere, she told me she might need to work late more often because of some new project. No details. Just vague. When I asked questions, she snapped. Said I wouldn't understand her job anyway. That was the first moment something in my gut just dropped. Still, I didn't confront her. I didn't accuse her. I just watched. Tried to convince myself there was a reasonable explanation. But deep down, I think I already knew. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. So yeah, I told myself I was overthinking it. That I was being the guy, the insecure husband reading too much into nothing. But the working late thing? It escalated fast. At first, it was once a week, then twice. Then suddenly it was like every other day. And here's the thing, her stories never matched. One night, she said, she was stuck in meetings. Another time it was client dinners. Then, team deadlines. The details kept shifting, like she wasn't even trying to keep track anymore. And if I asked anything, even casually, she'd snap. I remember one specific night. She came home around 11:30 p.m. No heads up, no message, nothing. I'd texted her twice earlier, just, hey, everything okay? And she didn't reply. When she walked in, I said, you could have at least texted me. She rolled her eyes, tossed her bag down, and went, oh my God, can you not start? No apology. Nothing. Just instant irritation, like I had done something wrong. That's when I really started paying attention. Little things began stacking up. Asterisk, she started dressing differently for work. Not just nicer, different. Like she suddenly cared way more than usual. Asterisk, new perfume. Not the one I bought her. Asterisk, gym membership. That she never mentioned until I saw the charge on our account. Asterisk, random bursts of texting. Then immediately locking her phone if I walked into the room. And the biggest one? She stopped touching me. No casual hugs, no goodnight. Kisses unless I initiated, and even then it felt forced. Like she was checking a box. It messes with your head, honestly. Because part of you is screaming, this is obvious. And the other part is desperately trying to keep your life from falling apart. So you rationalize. She's stressed. She's tired. Work is just crazy right now. But then something happened that made it really hard to keep lying to myself. About 2 weeks into all this, she got a phone call while we were sitting on the couch together. And the way she reacted to that call. Yeah, that was the first real crack in the illusion. And I don't think I've felt the same since. So we're sitting on the couch. Just some random weeknight. TV's on. Neither of us really watching it. She's on her phone. As usual lately, I'm half scrolling, half overthinking everything. Then her phone rings. And I swear, I'd never seen someone react that fast. She flinched. Like actually jumped a little. Then she grabbed the phone and immediately stood up, turning her body away from me like that alone would block me from existing. I caught a glimpse of the screen for maybe half a second. No name. Just a number. She declined the call. Not even a "hang on" or "I'll take this." Just straight up declined it and walked into the kitchen like nothing happened. So yeah, now I'm sitting there, heart already racing, trying to act normal. A few seconds later, I hear her whispering, in her own kitchen. That's when I got up. I didn't storm in or anything dramatic. I just walked over like, "Hey, what's up?" And the second she saw me, she froze. Then she covered the phone and said, "It's just work. Just work." At 9:40 p.m., whispering from a number she didn't save. Right. I didn't even argue. I just nodded and went back to the couch, because at that point I knew two things. One, she was lying. Two, if I pushed, she just twisted around like always. She came back a minute later, acting completely normal. Sat down, leaned back, even tried to casually put her feet on my lap, like nothing weird had just happened. That part messed with me the most. The switch. Like she could just flip from secretive and tense to relaxed and affectionate in seconds. Like I was supposed to just go along with it. I didn't say anything that night. Not a word. But internally, that was it. That was the moment the doubt stopped being doubt. And I started paying attention on purpose. Not just noticing things. Looking for them. And honestly, I wish I hadn't. Because once you start connecting the dots, you realize how many there actually are. And where they lead. Yeah, it's not somewhere you want to go. After that call, something in me just shifted. I stopped trying to convince myself everything was fine. I stopped giving her the benefit of the doubt. Instead, I started watching patterns. Like actually paying attention to timelines, details, the stuff I used to brush off. And once you start doing that, it's insane how obvious things become. For example, her work schedule. She said she had late meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Cool. Except one Thursday, I checked our shared calendar. We both use it for bills, appointments, all that, and she had nothing scheduled. No meetings, no reminders, nothing. But she still came home late. So I asked casually, "Hey, how was your meeting tonight?" She didn't even hesitate. Laid back actually. "We wrapped early." That's what she said. Except she came home at almost 11 again. So which is it? Wrapped early or stayed late? I didn't call her out. I just nodded like an idiot and said, "Nice." Another thing, her location. We'd had location sharing on since forever. Not even for trust issues, just convenience. Groceries, safety, whatever. It was normal for us. About a week after that phone call, I noticed hers was off. Just gone. So I texted her, "Hey, your location isn't showing." She replied like 20 minutes later, "Oh, weird, must be a glitch." A glitch. Right. I checked mine, working fine. Internet, fine. Everything else, fine. Only hers was glitching. And it stayed glitched for days. Then came the gym thing. I mentioned earlier I saw a charge for a membership she never told me about. So one Saturday morning I asked, "Hey, since when you go to the gym?" She looked annoyed again. Like I'd asked something offensive. "I told you about it." She said. She didn't. I would remember that. So I said, "No, I don't think you did." And she just doubled down. "Well, I did. You just don't listen." That's her go-to move, by the way. Rewrite reality, make me question myself. And for a second, it worked. I actually paused and thought, did I miss that? But no, I didn't. Because here's the thing, she never once actually went to the gym when I was around. Not once. Which raises the obvious question, where was she going? At this point, I wasn't just suspicious. I was keeping mental notes. Times. Excuses. Inconsistencies. And it was starting to form a pattern I couldn't ignore anymore. Still, I didn't have proof. Just a gut feeling that was getting louder by the day. Until a completely random moment handed me something I couldn't unsee. And that's when everything really started falling apart. It was a Sunday afternoon. She said she was going to the gym. Again. Quick workout. Won't be long. Same script as always. She left in a rush. Forgot her water bottle. Came back in for 2 seconds. Grabbed it and left again. Except she also forgot something else. Her tablet. She almost never uses it. But it was sitting on the kitchen counter. Screen still on. I wasn't even going to touch it at first. I just walked past it. Then I saw a notification pop up. A message. No name again. Just a number. And yeah, I looked. So I tapped it. And I wish I could say it was something vague. Something I could misinterpret. It wasn't. It was a message that said, "Miss you already. Today was worth it." That's it. Short. Simple. Completely devastating. My chest just dropped. Like physically. I actually had to sit down. Because in that one sentence, everything I'd been trying to ignore just became real. This wasn't stress. This wasn't work. This wasn't me overthinking. This was something happening behind my back. And the worst part? There were more messages. I didn't even have to dig. The thread was right there, open. Weeks of conversation. Flirting, inside jokes, plans. Like actual meetups. Gym, days. Late work, nights. All of it. Mapped out in front of me like some kind of sick timeline. I didn't read everything. I couldn't. My hands were shaking too much. But I saw enough. Enough to know this wasn't new. Enough to know it wasn't a one-time mistake. Enough to know she'd been lying to my face. Consistently, confidently, for who knows how long. I just sat there in silence for a while, staring at the screen, trying to process how fast my life had just shifted. Then I heard something. The front door. She came back. Way too soon for a gym session. And I was still sitting there, with her tablet in my hands, and everything about to blow up. I didn't even have time to think. 1 second I'm sitting there, staring at that message thread, and the next I hear the door unlock. My brain just froze. No plan, no calm. I'll handle this rationally. Moment. Just pure instinct and adrenaline. She walked in, dropped her keys like usual, and called out, "I forgot my headphones." Then she saw me, sitting at the kitchen table, holding her tablet. I've never seen her face change that fast. It was like everything drained out of it in a split second. That confident, slightly annoyed expression she always has, gone. Just panic. And that's when I knew for sure. No more doubt, no more. Maybe I misunderstood. She knew exactly what I saw. For a few seconds, neither of us said anything. Just silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Then she goes, way too quickly, "Why are you on my tablet?" My voice didn't even sound like mine. It was calm, but in that cold, detached way where you're actually seconds away from snapping. "Who is this?" She didn't answer right away, just stood there, arms crossed now, like she was already preparing for a fight. Then she shrugged. "It's nothing." I leaned forward slightly and said, "Who is it?" She sighed, exaggerated. "It's just a guy from work." So I said, "Do guys from work usually send you messages like that?" She rolled her eyes. "We hang out sometimes. It's not a big deal." At this point my hands were shaking, but now it wasn't shock, it was anger. "So you're going on dates with him?" I said. "They're not dates," she shot back. "So all of this is okay to you?" I asked. "The lying, the messages, meeting him behind my back? I didn't tell you because you'd react exactly like this." I almost laughed. "So this is a completely normal situation?" I said. "Any husband would be fine with this. Maybe if you actually paid attention to me, I wouldn't have to find someone to talk to." And there it was, the justification. That wasn't about talking. That was a second life she'd been building behind my back. "Who is he?" I asked. "Just someone from work." "Does he know you're married?" Silence. That silence told me everything. "You're pretending you're single," I said. "It's not like that," she snapped. And that's when I realized something worse than the betrayal itself. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. She was trying to normalize it. That silence didn't last long. "Fine. You want the truth?" I nodded. It wasn't just talking. My stomach dropped. "How long?" I asked. "A few weeks." "You're lying." "A couple months." "Does it matter?" "Yes," I said. "It matters." "Who is he?" "Just someone from work." "Does he know you're married?" Pause. "Long enough." "That's not the same thing," she said. And that was the core problem. She didn't see emotional betrayal as betrayal. If I started doing the same thing? I asked. "That's not the same thing." She said it immediately. "So explain how this isn't the same." I said. Silence. "I didn't plan for it to happen like this," she finally said. And I believed her. But that didn't make it better. It made it worse. Because it meant she just kept choosing it. "I didn't think you'd find out," she said. That was the honest part. And the worst part. Because it meant there was no stopping point. No guilt. No plan to end it. Just continuation until exposed. "Are you still talking to him?" I asked. "Yeah." That was it. No hesitation. No shame. Just yes. "What now?" she asked. I looked at her. "I'm calling this what it is. You're overreacting. I'm not being dramatic. I'm done. People fix this. You don't fix trust while you're still breaking it. I already told you I felt bad." "No," I said. "You said words." "I was going to tell you." "When?" "After?" I didn't want it to get to this point. "You still talking to him?" "Yeah." "Are you really going to leave over this?" she asked. "I'm not leaving," I said. "I'm responding." I grabbed my phone. "Who are you calling?" she asked. "My brother." "Why?" "Because I need somewhere else to stay." "You're really doing this?" "I'm leaving because you already did." The phone rang. "Hey," I said. "Can I crash at your place?" "Yeah." "What's going on?" "Nothing, I can explain quickly." "Come over." "Don't do this," she said. I packed a bag. "You're really leaving?" "I'm not walking out. I'm stepping away from what you created." "So what now?" "I'm done being part of this." "You're really throwing everything away?" "No." "You already did." "I didn't think you'd actually leave tonight," she said. "That was your mistake. I messed everything up." "Yes." "Are you coming back?" I stopped. "I don't know." but not like this. Then I left. Conclusion. Looking back, the hardest part wasn't the cheating itself. It was the slow realization that I had been participating in a version of reality she had completely rewritten without telling me. What I learned is that denial isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just you accepting explanations that don't actually make sense because the alternative hurts more. If there's anything I'd tell someone in a similar situation, it's this. Consistency matters more than promises. Actions matter more than explanations. And when someone repeatedly makes you question your own perception of reality, that's not confusion. That's information. I don't know what happens next for us. Maybe nothing. Maybe something else entirely. But I do know I'm not living in a version of events that requires me to ignore what I clearly saw anymore.